LSU. I said, they ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU, huh? They ain't ready for the LSU. No, they ain't ready for the LSU. We the best in the league if you looking for talent. LSU going hard, but we beat Alabama, then we going out to Florida. Drown the Gators, everybody getting bucked when we step in the stadium. This the LSU anthem, you know it's a hit. You don't know another rapper two-step like this. See me screaming out the window, yelling purple and gold. I'm an LSU fan, girl, you know how we roll now. Back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up. Hey, back and back it on up.
Hey, we are live. Welcome into the Tigers Avenue. Here is a Monday edition. Back to 2 episodes a week here at the start of the football season. Didn't start how we wanted it, and we'll get into all that. But we are glad that all of you are joining in and commenting here. Goose Sports already in here. Goose Sports, yo. What up, man? What up? Zach, obviously there's going to be a lot to discuss. We're going to recap the game here. We're going to look at the positives and negatives and expectations moving forward. But my first thing that I want to say here is, like, pump the brakes. Like, everybody pump the brakes. LSU fans, I just feel like we are the, like, most highest of high, lowest of low fan base, like, gotta be in the country. Like, we are so high.
I don't disagree with you there.
And then so low. Like, we have got to manage our emotions, and we've got to quit every time something happens acting like we are the worst at something, or we are an absolute shambles, and like every single time. Like, I get it, we lost, but geez Louise, good Lord. And for, I mean, also for all of you who may be listening, I sure hope none of you listening did this, but any of you who are, like, going after players, tweeting players, DMing players, like, grow up. Like, I do not care if you are the biggest LSU fan in the world. Number one, you're not, because I am. Number two, it's a like we're watching sports. This is not life or death. Like good grief. We've got to put this into perspective. These are 19, 20, 21-year-old guys. Like, we've got to keep, as a fan base, we have got to keep ourselves in check. But that's just Reagan's opening little note here to the immediate response.
Well, even Reagan, and I'll add on to that. I'll add on to that. Those of us that are fans that see that and react to it in the correct manner, as in, hey, whoa, that's not correct. Speak out. Don't just watch it. Don't just watch it happen and let it pass by.
Mercy.
Like, speak out against it. I'm glad that there were some parents of players. I'm glad that there were some parents of players that did that and addressed it.
Ridiculous.
And you know, if you are a true LSU fan, that does not come across your mind. If you are a true LSU football fan, your main goal is to love and support the Tigers, not tear them down.
Absolutely.
Not tear them down. And if you are tearing them down, now there is a difference between tearing them down and
criticism.
giving them criticism and constructive criticism.
Difference.
Huge difference. Sending death threats, talking just trash about players, coaches.
Inexcusable.
That is tearing the team down.
Inexcusable.
And you are only further hurting them. That's all you're doing.
And you're making the program look worse too.
And you're making the program look bad.
Like, for those of you who do that on social media, like, do you not think recruits and parents recruits pay attention?
Are paying attention. Exactly.
Like, stop. You are the team that you love so much. You are hurting. You are making it worse. uplift these kids. Good grief.
Yeah.
They just played their hearts out. They laid it on the line to bring this game back. Gosh, I just can't stand that. Ugh, that makes me. That drives me up a wall. I mean, the grit that they showed, the resolve that they showed to do what they did, and we'll get into it. Then you bash like that. Good grief! You have no inkling. Oh, that just drives me nuts. I'll hush before I say something I don't need to. But
I'll say this last thing, and then
then
we can move on. So if you are a true LSU fan, speak out against those that are tearing this team down in those manners. And if you care about also restoring some of that damage, reach out to the players, reach out to the parents, reach out to those coaches that have been torn down, and give them the support that they need to see. We did that ourselves. We reached out to, I won't say who, but we reached out to one of the players' parents and actually talked with them and said, hey, this is not how all of the fan base
we don't feel this way. Absolutely.
We don't feel this way.
Absolutely not.
We support your son. So I encourage you as LSU fans, do the same thing. Overwhelm these players with support and love that they deserve.
Also, yes, I'm gonna say this guy's name. I'm gonna say it. Braden Fajoko, you need to do better. Do better, bro. As an LSU alum, come on. As a student athlete, you should know how it feels. You do know how it feels. Do better.
2018.
Anyways, all right. We need to preview this game, Zach. We need to discuss it. Obviously, there are. There's some negatives. There's some things that didn't go well, and we will give some constructive criticism on it. And that's with in mind that neither you or I could do any of these things to begin with. So take our this is just our opinion, our thoughts, what we saw on the game. Even though we could do nothing that these players were doing anyways, these are Division I athletes. So, Zach, where do we start? I mean, what do you want to talk first when the game? We were there. For anybody who's wondering, we were in the stands. The atmosphere was electric. I'll tell you what, Zach.
Yeah.
It was 50-50, bro. It was 50-50.
Really, Florida State showed out.
Florida State showed up. And now, it's a neutral site game, so they probably had to give, a certain amount, a lot of tickets to Florida State and a certain amount, a lot of the LSU. And boy, oh boy, hey, Florida State showed up.
They sure
and
did.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, they were louder. They were.
We were there. We were literally there.
They were louder. Which, I guess for the most part, they maybe had a little bit more to cheer for throughout the entirety of the game. LSU fans definitely got loud at the end, but for the majority of the game, the Florida State fans showed out and were definitely a presence within the game. All right, Zach, where do we start? We can preview this by position group. Do we want to do that? So we can break it down like that, or do we want to go by moments?
We can. All
right, let's start with the opening drive. Opening drive, Jade Daniels, very beginning. 25-yard run. You move down the field. There's some penalties. You have a bad snap. It felt like at the beginning there, you're like, okay, the offense is moving, and like it moved quickly, and then for quite some time it went dormant. It couldn't do that again. You got 3 points off of it, and then that was going to be your only points for that half. But to go from the beginning of that there with the opening drive, it felt like, all right, we're going to move the ball, but then it just didn't happen that way. And then Florida State through the first half, it felt like possessed the ball the rest of the time after that, because your defense just couldn't get off on third down. I mean, what was the main factor of that, Zach? Well, I mean, why could our defense not get off the field?
I'll say this in a baseball term: the middle infield has to do better. I mean, the middle of the field has got to do better. There was way too many receivers running wide open. Now, I'll say the boundaries were covered really well. They were covered really well.
Absolutely.
I mean, yes, you got beat a couple times on the outside. I thought on the flea flicker, Greg Brooks recovered really well.
Turn around.
Was there.
Yeah, turn around.
He needed to turn around, but he was there. Right.
He was. Find the ball, brother. Find the ball.
It's not. You weren't seeing a guy streak open and there's nobody 10 yards around him, right? Like Greg Brooks was there. You got to make a better play on the ball there and have
Absolutely.
a better football IQ there to know that the ball is coming. I need to get positioned here and try and position my body to turn around and make a play on this ball. Yes, but and then of course they had the one-handed catch. Jarek Bernard played great defense on that coverage. It was just a really great catch, good catch. And Ollie Gase got to do a better job there. Of instead of spearing the guy, he needs to do a better job of trying to bat down that ball. But yeah, I think the outside was fine. I think up the middle was where the biggest problem was, and that is why you couldn't get off the field on third down, was because of the middle. So the linebackers, they need to do a better job of executing their game plan.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. You're Jared Bernard Converse, Colby Richardson, Greg Brooks did great, I think, in coverage. Really well. I mean, that is an overlooked thing in this game. It really is. They did great. I mean, that was a problem last year, though, is through the middle, in the middle of the field. Linebackers in coverage. I mean, we've got to do something there because, I mean, it was eating you alive. And I will also add to that, yes, your middle needs to do better, but you also got to tackle better, bro. I mean, there was multiple times when you had Jordan Travis dead to rights. I mean, Brian Kelly said today there were 16 missed tackles against Jordan Travis. 16. That's way too many. We got to tackle better. There was times when they got to him. And look, I mean, Jordan Travis is a great player. I'm not going to take away from what he did. The kid was elusive as all get out.
Better than I thought. Better player than I thought.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And we should have took LSU fans probably should have taken that into consideration. It's the dude's third year, right? So that means it's third year's quarterback, third year coach, Mike Norvell and Jordan Travis together. So you definitely have got to get to when you get to the quarterback, you got to get him down. I mean, you got to tackle. Stop trying to make. Well, this is safety. Don't make shoulder tackles. Got to wrap up, dude. I mean, there was I think it was 87 called a pass over the middle. Jay Ward came and lowered the boom, but he bounced right off of him. Why? Because he didn't wrap up. You got to wrap up, brother. You got to wrap up. I mean, it's textbook tackling. I think that was another reason we didn't get off the field a lot is we didn't finish tackles. So it was brutal. I mean, they were like 11 of 15 for third downs, and that just can't happen. That's not winning defense. That's not winning football. But overall, I really enjoyed the defense. Brutal. Oh, we got to mention it, Zach. But brutal, absolutely brutal loss for the season in Mason Smith. I mean, you just hate it for the kid. He was poised for a massive year, and dude was wreaking havoc already. The dude was wreaking havoc. Yeah. He really was. He was a problem, and he was going to be a problem all game long. He celebrates for his teammate, and he tears his ACL. It's just an absolutely man, I just feel so bad for the kid. I really do. And I was excited for him in this season. But I will say Mekhi Wingo stepped up and he had the most tackles on the defensive line last night or Sunday night.
Yeah, which is really encouraging with the depth there.
Absolutely. Your depth is there. Boy, I was worried there for a second when Mason Smith went down. They carried him off, and then B.J. Ojulari went down the next play. Thankfully, Ojulari came back out the next drive. But boy, when Mason went out and then B.J. sat the rest of that drive, I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, it was like we went through all of fall camp with no injuries, and it's like, okay, here it is. It's catching up to us.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks. I hate it for Mason Smith. I mean, he was just absolutely poised for a beautiful sophomore season, but unfortunately, it ends extremely early. Ends on the very first drive for the defense. All right, what else do we need to talk about, Zach? Special teams. Special teams.
They started really good.
There are 3 phases to the game. You have to play all 3. You got to correct your protection on the field goal. A blocked field goal and a blocked PAT. Yeah, it's inexcusable. It's just inexcusable. Literally, a field goal. Blocking a field goal is a mathematical improbability. It is a slight chance of probability to block a field goal. It is very hard to do. And the fact that you allowed it twice in one game it was brutal, especially the very last one being that it cost you the game. I mean, you literally have to hold the line no longer than 2 seconds, maybe?
If that.
Snap, hold, kick. The kicker is in motion when the ball is snapped. It's brutal. Jay Bramlett, I think, is going to be okay. I'm not worried about Jay Bramlett. He made one mistake. But boy, oh boy, the first punt. Holy smokes.
Boomed it.
How far was that, Zach?
It was 55 yards, and he had him. I think the punt returner backed up at least 10 yards. I mean, it was hard to see when we were watching because we were actually there in the stands. Would have been probably a lot easier to see. I haven't seen that punt specifically on replay on the television, but I've watched the highlights and a lot of the game. But didn't see that kick specifically. But I think he at least backed up 10 yards.
Bro. Yeah. That was a huge punt.
And like you said, the shank is just a shank. Like it's an accident. It's not something that's going to be – I do not foresee that being something that is happening often.
Yeah,
I do not.
Right.
Jay Bramlett's been a very consistent, very good punter in the country.
Veteran.
He's a veteran. I mean, he came from Notre Dame with Brian Kelly. I don't think that will be a problem moving forward. But we do have to ask the question, do they make a change? And speaking of punts, do they make a change at punt returner for LSU? And I think they do. I think it's at least needed to evaluate. Like in the Southern game, I think it would be very, very wise of them to put somebody else back there and see how they handle that duty. And then maybe later on in another game, or maybe in one punt return next game, you give Malik a shot and see how he handles it. But I got to say, Reagan, I've thought about this a couple times and I just haven't mentioned it. Dude, the dome is like trippy. Like when you look up in the air,
trippy. It's trippy.
It's trippy.
100%.
Like
100%.
It's trippy. So like I thought about that and I was like, man, I can't imagine having to be Malik Neighbors looking up at
it's
that
pressure.
ceiling.
Yeah.
And trying to locate that ball. And then have to worry about the defense coming on, about the coverage coming down. Like when we got up there in the stands, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's trippy. Yeah,
like I'm sure a lot of y'all. I'm sure a lot of our
your
listeners
eyes had to adjust.
Have been to the Superdome. And I don't know if y'all just like straight up just like looked up, but it's kind of trippy. So I think angle, that may have played a factor. Yeah. That may have played a factor.
The curve of it that into, because it kind of bends up and then domes at the top. Your eyes definitely have to adjust to it, and I would, I would like to see what that would be like. But I mean, also, he's probably nervous. I mean, look, what is he, 19, 20 years old?
He's 19.
I mean, a lot of pressure. He's 19 years old. I mean, the stands are packed. Literally, the moment depends upon him. Like, his job's to catch it. It's a lot of pressure. I hate it for Neighbors. I really do. I think I'm not worried about Malik, honestly, at all. The dude's still a great player. So all of you bashing Malik are really dumb because he's going to make you look silly by the end of this season, because Malik's an elite player. And honestly, yes, I think you try a few other guys. Maybe I see some comments here. Sage Ryan, I agree. I would love for him to get another shot at it. That's just me. I would like to see him get another chance at it, just to prove he can, because the dude can catch. I know it's different from catching, just a normal pass, but you want the ball in your playmaker's hands, and Malik Neighbors is a playmaker. So
and I get your point there. I think it needs to be done in a wash game. Maybe, get some other people in there to see how they do, and then maybe get him to try one punt return and see how he does. But
but I
don't think
you
give
throw
up
Sage
on
out there and give him a chance. Yeah.
You need to definitely exercise your options.
Lastly, Zach, O-line. Boy, that's one of your biggest weaknesses. It's one of your biggest weaknesses. I mean, Jaden was running for his life, dude.
He really was.
He's running for his life.
That was very evident the entire first 3 quarters of the game. I mean, he was, and I honestly don't even know, Reagan, if there. I think there definitely was times that he got happy feet and maybe scrambled a little too early.
Probably.
But not really. Honestly. I mean, that the line broke down so quickly and so fast, it seemed like,
can't blame
especially
him. Even if he did have happy feet, you couldn't blame him.
You can't blame him. Like, because that was happening so quickly and so often, I don't blame him. But I really don't think he had. I mean, watch the last drive. He didn't have happy feet. I mean, he stood in the pocket and and went through his progressions and made the plays that he had. And then when he had to scramble, when he didn't have the option, he took off.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I have to agree with you. The O-line needs a much improvement. I see a lot of comments in here on it. We will address all your comments here at the end of this segment.
Just briefly. O-line. I want to see Anthony Bradford go to tackle, right tackle. I want to see that in game. Cam Wire, who's supposed to be one of your veteran guys, was a kind of a guy who got bullied a lot the other night.
The right side was rough. It
was brutal sometimes. And look, make no mistake about it. The defensive line is by far the strength of Florida State. I mean, they're fast, they're physical, they're big, strong.
They have pros playing.
Yeah, they got NFL talent on their defensive line. So, you just got beat there. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. You are going to continue to face pros on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Come first week of November, you're probably going to face the greatest player in college football in Will Anderson. Currently, the best player in college football. So look, you got to improve. You got to get right. I want to see Anthony Bradford out at right tackle. Trayvon Shorts did get a few snaps at right guard. I want to see them go back to that original 5. I want to see that a little bit. But I think right now you got to try because Bradford was kind of, it felt like Bradford was limited in his role at the right guard position, and I just feel like Bradford's footwork is better for a tackle position. He has faster footwork, better footwork. Put him on the right tackle so he can set the edge. So he's good with getting out of his stance. So I want to see Bradford play the tackle. So maybe that edge doesn't, like the defensive end doesn't get out of his stance faster and beat you to the edge, right? It's all about beating to the spot. If the defensive end gets off the line first and beats you to the stop, it's gonna be a long night if he's doing it all the time. And unfortunately, that's what happened a lot to Cam Wire, and that's what happened in the final drive when they were rushing 3 against our 5. He got beat. He had no help. Why? Because the defense went on the outside, and he got to the spot first, and he just got past him. He was faster than him. So I want to see Anthony Bradford at right tackle because I like his footwork better.
I can't disagree with you there.
Yeah, absolutely not. Well, we'll get into that. Positive, negatives. We'll get into that. Let's hit some comments real quick, Zach, because there is the comment section is jumping tonight. It is jumping.
Yeah,
we appreciate all y'all coming here commenting. This is awesome. We love having y'all come in here comment like this.
Penny, why are people so negative when we lose, but in the wagon when we win? You neither a Tiger fan or not win or lose. I agree because
that's true.
As I said, true fans are going to support the team no matter what. Yes, you can. Yes, there is a room for criticism and there is a time for criticism, but again, if you are tearing them down, that's where the difference comes. The difference comes in criticism and tearing them down. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Elwin, team looked lackadaisical or shell-shocked from start till halfway through third quarter. It seemed as though the stage was too big for them. Improvement is needed and will come.
I'll go shell-shocked.
I'll agree and disagree with you there. I think the main reason that LSU looked that way through the first 3 is quite simply, as Brian Kelly put it, there wasn't a sense of urgency.
Absolutely.
So if you want to say lackadaisical, I don't think probably maybe a little bit. In the sense that they weren't running that. They weren't as adept to go tempo.
Lackadaisical makes me think lazy, and I just don't think.
I don't think they're lazy by any means. I think it was maybe more methodical is probably the better word to use there. They were more methodical the first 3 quarters, and then
they needed to knock the rust off.
Yeah, and that's probably a lot to do with it. I don't think by any means that they weren't as hyped up for this game. By any means, I think LSU was ready to come out and just blow them out, but because of the past 2 seasons. But anyways,
we got to address that comment.
I don't know which one you're talking about, but
one of the most recent ones.
I think number 11, number 10, number 8, number 80 will make the team go, but a weapon that we need to take advantage of is 86. Yes, that's one of the positives.
We'll get to
that.
Yes.
Mason Taylor, I wholeheartedly agree. Brian, BK, take over. When both your safeties lead the team in tackles, that's a problem. I agree because your linebackers need to lead the team in tackles.
Got to do better.
I think Greg Penn was pretty sure Greg Penn was third in the team, leading the team in tackles. All right. Semper, tell me, TA, what do we do against a good defense that JD can't run against and has pressure in his face? My opinion, he says, tell me, Tia, what do we do against a good defense that JD can't run against and has pressure in his face? I don't really necessarily think, Semper, that there is going to be a defense that he absolutely cannot run against.
There's gonna be a gaps. There's gonna be gaps.
Teams have to respect our wide receivers. They really do. I think something that will help in that area is getting the backs more involved in the passing game. You saw a little bit of that on Sunday.
Not enough. Not enough.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there was enough of it. BK take over need more called runs. I do have a kind of a take on this, Reagan. I think part of the reason you saw that, I agree with Ryan. Like during the game, I was like, why are we not trying to establish the run more? Like, why are we not having? And I think honestly, it's because of the personnel that you have there. I just don't think they have that.
It's lacking.
It's the running back
most
room
underwhelming
is lacking.
group. Yeah, it's
outside of the offensive line, but I think the offensive line can gel and have a lot of talent there. I think the running back room has some work.
Hopefully, we'll have a guy emerge like TDP last year. But yeah, we can't keep doing that. We did that last year and it cost us a lot. Can't keep doing that.
Tell me, TA, why do you think we have freshman tight ends blocking on special teams when we have guys like Mashburn?
I agree. Yes. Mashburn needs to be the guy on the PAT, on the field goal protection. Wholeheartedly agree. Best comment so far. But that doesn't mean Mason Taylor isn't good. We'll get to it.
No. Ant Marshall, good to see you in here, bud. Malik, punt return, was another first-time starter. Never been in that position before. I don't think those two returns are indication of how good he can be a returner. I agree. I mean, he is dynamic with the football.
Yeah.
If he can get the catch down, that's all he's got to do. He's got to get the catch down. And as we mentioned, it looks a lot different. All right. Al Landry agrees with us. Shorts at right guard, Bradford at right tackle, and Marshall. I know Brandon Reese asked us that question, so we've addressed that question. I think you kick in. I think you kick out Anthony Bradford and bring in
Anthony Geis. Hit his second comment. Anthony Geis. Second comment.
I thought BK was a good hire. I'm beginning to doubt that now. Embarrassing loss.
We cannot do this after one game. We can't do this after one game.
You gotta Anthony, we're glad to have you on the show. Glad for you to join us.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta also consider, Anthony, everything that BK was left. And this Florida State, we still have to wait and see how good this Florida State team is. I mean, Mike Norvell has been there a few years now. He's been able to implement a system. Jordan Travis is a 3-year starter. They've got a really good defensive line. The wide receivers, who were a big question mark coming the season, looked good for Florida State on Sunday. That was a question that was answered for Florida State. So you got to consider those things, Anthony. Reagan, I know you were going to say a few things, so go ahead.
Yeah, look, Brian Kelly is an elite is a top tier coach. He wins everywhere he goes. He has a system and it works and it will win. You gotta give the dude more than one game. Well, we can't get tunnel vision here thinking that we got to win every single game or Brian Kelly's a flop. Like,
i.e. Ed Orgeron, Troy 2017.
Yes. Look, we had 39 scholarship players for the bowl game. 39. Completely new staff. New players all over the field. Transfers, freshmen. Guys, there's going to be kinks that need to be worked out. Like, we got to pump the brakes on the Brian Kelly scrutiny. If you want to have my opinion about it, the dude killed it at the end of the game. He killed it.
Yes.
You think Les Miles is going to manage the clock that well? Absolutely not.
Or even
Edo. Absolutely not. You think Edo's going to manage the clock the way Brian Kelly did at the end of that game? Absolutely not. The clock management at the end was great. The clock management was great. So I'm not upset with you, Anthony, but like I'm just saying, like don't think that Brian Kelly's a bad hire because of one game. Give the dude some time. I mean, we tied ourselves to him for that's why he gave him a big contract several years. You got to give him some time to work this program back together over the next 2-3 years. You're probably gonna be competing at a high level. And guys, there's 11 games left. All right, we probably need to move forward, Zach.
Yeah, let's take a quick
break.
Need
to move forward,
and then we will come back. We're going to talk about the positives and the negatives. We've discussed obviously the game flow, everything that happened. Looking at the position groups, now we're going to kind of discuss more so the positives and the negatives, and of course get into what we are expecting moving forward. I know me and Reagan have kind of discussed this, and maybe now I wouldn't say tiff, but we've debated this today and on the way home from New Orleans, so that ought to be interesting.
You're down in the dumps, Zach. Pull your head out of it.
Well, you may be misinterpreting me a little bit, but let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back to discuss all of those things.
5-Star Hero, your intro and outro music for the Tigers Avenue show. They ain't ready for that LSU. Go check out all his other music on all the major platforms. Don't forget to follow him on Instagram at Saints Anthem and at Twitter at One Nation Doty. Don't forget to check out his Facebook page for all his Saints and LSU merchandise. 5-Star Hero. Can't get any better than Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law. Her firm focuses on the needs of the elderly and maintaining their dignity throughout the process. Here for you, here for your family. Sarah Klein Stevens, attorney at law.
All right. Positives and negatives. Positives and negatives from the game. What are we doing first? Negatives and then the positives?
I'll start because I have a stat I want to share that I haven't shared yet. I haven't shared it on Blake's show. I haven't shared it in the space. I don't even think I've shared it with me and you, Reagan, in conversation. I have discussed an aspect of the stat, but have not shared this stat specifically. Biggest positive for me in this game is Jaden Daniels. Period.
100%.
Period. If you 100%. Are one, if you're 100%. One of those fans, if you are one of those fans that believe that Jaden needed to be pulled and Nuss need to be put in, go look at the freaking box score. Look at the freaking. Here's a stat for you, Reagan. All right, I remember I mentioned this. Jaden Daniels had 323 yards out of LSU's 348 yards.
Hey,
do you want to know what that percentage is, Reagan? 93%. Jaden Daniels was 93% of your offense. And you say, well, he's a quarterback. Yeah. Quarterbacks aren't going out and being 93% of your offense. Yeah, 70, 80, yeah, sure.
He was the offense.
Most of the time you have a running back in there that is, a couple of running backs in there that are putting up yards. I understand that. And I understand today's day and age. I understand that the quarterbacks are now a higher percentage. But 93%? And you want to take the guy out? Are you drunk? Are you drunk? You want to take out 93% of your offense? You're crazy. And Zach
Grant.
Yeah, Nuss could come in and probably do some great things. I'm not discounting Nuss here because Nuss is a great quarterback. But there's a reason. There is a reason that Jaden Daniels is the starter. He has experience and he has wheels. Yes, Nuss has wheels too, but Jaden Daniels has elite wheels.
Elite.
And it was very evident. It was very evident that when you saw what that offensive line was going to do, that you needed Jaden Daniels back there.
100%.
This is not a knock on Nuss. This is not a knock on Nuss at all. No. But I promise you, there is more sacks if Nuss is back in the backfield as a QB1. I promise you. Because yes, Nuss is a great quarterback. Yes, Nuss has some wheels himself. Yes, he is a gunslinger, is a static player that is going to make the big plays. But he is also one of those guys that he just doesn't have the wheels that Jaden does, period. I mean, this guy was clocked at 21 miles per hour. Do not sit here and tell me that you think that Jaden Daniels needed to be taken out of that ball game. You are completely inaccurate, and it is absurd that you can watch that game, look at the box score, and have that tape. 93%. 93% of the offense. That is the biggest positive for me was Jaden Daniels. Now, the fact that he was 93% of the offense is a negative because you have got to get the running backs going, Reagan. You have got to get the running backs going. You have got to find a guy that can be able to hit the hole and bust it outside. And we talked about it. We talked about it on Blake's show, and I agree 100%. You got to find a guy that you got to find a running back that can be more so of your guy. I understand Frank Wilson wants to be a running back by committee approach, but it seems like with this group, you're going to have to find a guy that you can ride the hot hand. Sure. You're going to have to do it because right now, this by committee, none of them are looking great. And
you also got to get John Emery back in. You got to. I mean,
I do want to. And
after this past week, this next weekend, you'll get him.
I'm not sure how much that changes when he comes back. To be honest with you,
sure.
The offensive line we mentioned whenever we discussed the line of scrimmage in our position groups preview. Like, we knew that pass blocking was probably going to be a problem. We weren't as concerned about run blocking. You got to do better at run blocking. You got to do run, but the running backs also got to do better at executing. Got
to hit the holes. There were some missed holes. There were some missed holes. There were some lanes that were missed.
Another negative on offense was the drops. To see Kayshawn have 4 drops, that was bad. I mean, he had two in the end zone and 2 during drives that were in pretty critical moments.
Also,
that was another negative.
Quit acting like Kayshawn's leaving, bro. Oh my gosh,
he's not leaving. That was a fake account. It was a fake account.
Gosh, the whole oh my Lord, everybody's deleting everything. They're deleting everything. Everybody's leaving.
Why do you think they're falling apart? Why do you think they're falling apart?
Oh my gosh,
they're deleting everything because they're getting freaking death threats from fans and students. Why do you? I would delete my stuff. I would delete my stuff if I had death. If somebody was threatening me and my family, I'm ghosting on social media. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. And I mean, it may be a lock-in, aspect too. Like, all right, let's lock it in. Look, here's where do I go first? My 2 positives. I gotta agree. Zach, you lit it up. Jay Daniels is your guy. Like, he is the guy.
100%.
He's that dude.
I'm not saying Nuss isn't, because Nuss can also go out there and I think light it up, but. Jaden is clearly your guy.
Yeah, but Jaden's your guy this year. The dude threw 74%. 74% completion ratio. It was
we were
excellent.
worried about his accuracy.
And how many drops were there? Like 3, 4?
Kayshawn had 4.
3 or 4?
He had the 2 in the end zone. He had 2, and he had 2 around midfield or somewhere around that. I can't remember.
If you take away the drops. If you take away the drops, the dude's probably completing at an 80-something% clip. Like, he's good. The dude's good. He went 200 for 100, 200 passing and over 100 rushing. The dude is good. I like Jaden a lot. I think he's going to do a lot of great things for us this year. Really excited about him. Really excited about his ability. Also, one of my other positives is the play calling. Obviously, I think there needs to be some more runs. I agree. But look, you go back and watch some of the film, the play calling was there. The execution was not. I'll say it again. The play calling was there. The execution was not. Denbrock was drawing up plays, and it was there. The execution was not. Some of that has to do with the line, not giving Jane enough time, whatever it may be. The drops.
The running back's not hitting the holes. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you think about it, if Kayshawn catches that touchdown, let's say that field goal doesn't get blocked, like, you win the game with that final touchdown. So the play calling was there. The execution was not. Let's run some more tempo. It worked. Jaden looked comfortable. He was able to get the ball out of his hands. You got the ball into playmakers' hands, right? Like when you ran tempo, you were getting it out there. You were getting into Mason Taylor. You were getting into Dre Jenkins. Like things were happening. The ball was moving. Let's run a little bit more up tempo. And if you run a little bit more up tempo like that, and you're dicing and you're dropping off these little passes that are picking up 10, 15, Dre Jenkins' touchdown was 22 yards. His first one was 22 yards. Then your run game can open up. That will open up holes for the run game, right? So I want to see some more of that to happen. My other positive is Mason Taylor. They were absolutely right about Mason Taylor, 100%. Yes. The kid is going to be great. He's going to be a great tight end. I think
he was your second leading receiver?
Double check that. I think he is, though.
I will double check. He was second or third.
But Mason Taylor looked fantastic. And now the blocking, he's a freshman. He needs to grow.
He's third behind Brian Thomas and Dre Jenkins.
How many did Brian Thomas have?
Brian Thomas, well, I just clicked off of it. Hold on. Here we go.
Clicking off.
Brian Thomas was 44. He had 44 yards, 5 catches, and Dre Jenkins had 5 for 46.
Yeah, it felt like for Mason Taylor, the moment wasn't too big, right? He went out there, he made plays, he looked impressive. I'm really excited about him. Really excited about Jaden. I think you just got to run a little like with the lackadaisical, like he said, that guy said earlier. It felt lackadaisical because like the execution wasn't there and you were going 3 and out, and the offense was petering out. I think you picked the tempo up like we did at the end, and boy, it looked great. It really did. My other negative, those were my positives. My negative for the night is field goal protection. Definitely needs to be cleaned up. I 100% agree.
Very frustrating.
100% agree with the fellow, I can't remember who it was, who put that Jack Mashburn needs to be your guy out there instead of Mason Taylor. 100% agree. Mashburn is probably your best blocking tight end, and I 100% agree that on that. Now, what do you do with Cam Wire? I don't know, but who do you put out there? I don't know. We'll leave it up to the coaches, but I think Emory Jones was out there too. Emory Jones was out there. Mason Taylor was out there. Too many freshmen. Put some experience out there. Put some big dudes out there. And I mean, you hate that happened with 2 freshmen out there. But anyways, definitely needed to reevaluate the personnel on the field goal protection, because I mean 2 blocked field goal and a PAT to lose the game, just inexcusable. So BK takeover, that last comment there, or second to last now. Smash needs to be in on the 12 personnel. Agreed. I want to see that too. I also think it would be good to incorporate. Okay. Golden Boot Pod corrected me. I stand corrected. Mason Taylor wasn't. It was fair. Yeah, I mean that's probably even worse. I mean that's a receiver, and that dude ain't that big. Appreciate your correction there. I missed that. All right, Zach, let's hit a few comments here. There's still comments flying in. Those are our positive negatives. We'll hit comments here, and then we'll get into expectations for the rest of the year. Zach, what do we got?
Semper said biggest positive for him, first time we have made halftime adjustments since Saban left. I don't think you're like really far off either. But let's see. This program is no different from other big time Power 5 programs in terms of going through some humbling times.
Sure.
You're right. Sure. and as Reagan said, we definitely need to give some time. BK Jaden was basically the offense. Yeah, he was literally. I mean, 93%. You cannot deny it. He had 9 incompletions, and 5 of those were drops.
Because I don't know if that comment's meant to be negative or like positive.
No,
for me, it's a positive.
It's meant to be positive. I think Ryan, Carl Dunn. I don't like to see Zach winning bad. Golden Boot says that looks like he told BK that losing this game is a part of the end game. Al Landry, my guy's fired up.
First Zach rant.
Passativo. So funny. Zach, you need an anti-tangy drink and chill, babe. I do need some headache medicine because I already have a headache. I need to take my hat off or something. I don't want to see that though. Crazy hat hair. All right, Elwin. He said no running backs. The ball only touched the backs 13 times for the game. Got to get more production out of those players. Yeah, I agree with you, Elwin.
Sure.
100% agree. As we've said, how much does John Emery factor into that?
After the Southern game, yep.
Yep. Let's see. Critter Getter. Critter Getter. That's a pretty cool name. I'm assuming he's a hunter. It looks like it from his profile picture. It's about to get real. Everybody is on the hot seat. Stay positive. My LSU family, go Tiger. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Critter.
I don't think everybody's on the hot seat. Yeah.
The last part, yeah, I get you. Stay positive for sure, and go Tigers. Let's see. Field goal was blocked on Cam Wire's guy. Yeah. Yep. BK said it's definitely meant to be a positive comment. I thought so.
Yeah.
All right, Reagan, let's get into this because I know we're going to disagree a little bit here. Let's start to look at moving forward for the rest of the season. What our expectations are, what need to be the expectations of the fan base, in our opinion. Of course, guys, listen, this podcast is meant for y'all to hang out, chill with us, listen to me and Reagan, just discuss things back and forth. Obviously, we're going to be discussing
listen to me
news.
Say stupid things.
Yeah, but it's definitely meant to. Let's see, Peyton, good to see you, bud. He was 93% of the offense. That's pretty much the reason the rest of the offense was only 7%, not a winning formula. I agree. I agree. There's a positive and a negative to that. Positive, Jaden Daniels carried you.
When you needed him
to carry you, he carried you. Negative, he can't be 93% of the offense.
Yeah.
But it is absurd for people to say, let's take him out because he was 93% of your offense. Yeah. Hope I'm making sense with that. All right, Reagan. I'll go first because I know I tend to be more the pessimistic side, and I want to end this on a positive note because I need some positivity for my Tigers getting out of here. So first off, I want to make it very clear. I have not given up on LSU by any means necessary. I wholeheartedly believe that they can turn this thing around and make the corrections that they need to, that we saw on Sunday, and go and beat the Mississippi schools at home, and beat Tennessee at home, and go and beat Arkansas and Fayetteville, and go and beat Auburn on the road, and go and beat Texas. They can. I fully believe that they can go compete in the SEC and win a lot of games. My thing is, Reagan, after seeing what I saw Sunday, I think we have to take a step back on our expectations. I do, because I think this team, with the inexperience and with BK still having to put everything together, I don't think it's going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be a quick fix in my eyes. And so I think some of the problems that we saw on Sunday are going to still come back to haunt us a little bit in the season. I think it's going to take time to fix some of those things. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a personnel thing. Maybe it's just a scheme thing that they've got to fix. I don't know. But I think that we, as LSU fans, need to take a step back. And here's the reason why. I came in the season with really high hopes, and my high hopes were 8-4, 9-3. And one of those wins was against Florida State, and we didn't get it. And so, and the manner that we get it, this is probably a part of it, is just because the manner that we took that loss was so heartbreaking for me, and just it made me so distraught that I think I needed myself to take a step back and look at this LSU team and go, look, if some of these problems don't work themselves out, if they're not corrected, this team could go 6-6. They could legit go 6-6. They might could go 5-7. Now I'm not out here like Russ Mitchell thinking they're gonna go 4-8. I think they probably get, at least 2 to 3 SEC wins. I think at best now, in my opinion, 8-4 is at best for LSU. If LSU finishes 8-4 after Sunday, I will be ecstatic. I'll be like, let's go. What a good, and then you go win a bowl game and you're 9-4. I would be elated. But I just think, in my opinion, for myself, and I think also for me talking to our viewers, our listeners, and the fans, I think we might need to take a step back and realize that 5-7, 6-6 is a very realistic possibility. I honestly believe that. If you, Reagan, if you cannot make the corrections, I'm not saying that they can't.
If you can't make the corrections, yes, but you're going to make adjustments.
I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm saying if these negatives that we've talked about and if these problems that we've talked about continue, it's a very realistic possibility. It is and I think
why'd you make the tweet? Then why'd you make the tweet about Ed Orgeron going 6-1?
Because I need some positivity in my life.
Why'd you make the tweet if you act like, look?
Because they can.
Okay,
they can. Zach, I just think you have to. You also have to look at it more realistically as well.
You also have to take off the feeling that of last year. We are no longer under Ed Orgeron. We are under Brian Kelly. The adjustments are coming. Did Brian Kelly come out here today in his press conference and go, we just had the best press conference? I mean, we just had the best practice we ever had. No. He came out, pointed the flaws out, and gave criticism to the coaching staff. He gave critiques with where it need to be with the team. The dude knows the problems, and he's gonna go fix them. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna fix them 100%, and I'm not sitting here saying you're going 11-1, and I'm also not saying you're going 9-3. But what I am saying is Brian Kelly's at the helm now. It's different. We got to erase the past. Like, the past 2 years sucked. You didn't lose to Florida State like you lost to Mississippi State. You didn't lose to Florida State like you lost to UCLA. Those 2 games, we got trounced.
That's true.
You lost this game on a PAT miss. Your players showed grit, showed resilience, showed resolve, showed they love playing for LSU because they strapped it up and went 99 yards in 1 minute and 10 seconds and got it done.
Yeah.
But you missed the PAT. That is something you can fix. What I'm saying is, if you go fix that, you are going to then later come into a situation where you hit the PAT, right? Like, we're going to hit some more PATs this year. So if a situation arises, right, like, they're going to execute that. Like, I think at the latter of last year, we saw the line improve under Brad Davis. Brad Davis is still here. It can improve. We saw that tempo worked this past game. So run some more tempo. And when you run some more tempo, maybe that opens up holes for the run game. Maybe it opens up some more holes for your running back. The mistakes that were made can be fixed, especially with a coach like Brian Kelly. Like, yes, the loss sucked, but it was a heart-wrenching like rip your soul out lost because you thought you had it and you missed the PAT. If you hit the PAT, you're going to overtime, Zach, and we may be having a different conversation. That's my point. So we
need to talk about going for 2. I know we haven't discussed that, but
sure.
Finish your thought, and then maybe we'll discuss that.
Your point is you got to step back and tame your feelings. We had to tame our feelings about the season at the beginning of the season. All new coach, all new team, all of that. Like, you can't expect us to come out here and win the national championship year one.
For sure.
8-4 is a reasonable feat for this team. And also, now your schedule favors your kinks. And furthermore, you played 2 years in a row, you played a team that's already played a game. So they got film on themselves to work themselves out. So now you take this week against Southern. You take this week against New Mexico State. You work your kinks out. You try some new things. You throw some new personnel out there. See if it works. Watch the film. Study the film. Make the adjustments. Like Brian Kelly is doing these things. And furthermore, this coach, Zach, is this coach better than Ed Orgeron?
100%. 100%.
100%. Okay, last year, 2 years ago, there was a commentator laughing before the Florida game started, literally laughing in the booth, saying, well, I think we need to see how much Florida's going to beat them by. Who won the freaking game? LSU. They went in the swamp and won. Last year, everybody expected A&M to come in there and mow us over. Who won? LSU. Because we have talent. Adjustments can be made. Things can change throughout the season. You're going to win some games this year you're not supposed to win. That's SEC football. That's SEC football. And now you have a better coach at the helm. My point is, yes, I still think we're probably going to be like a 8-4, 7-5 team. 100%. 100%. Is the possibility there to go 5-7, 6-6? Yes. Is it likely with Brian Kelly as your head coach? No. You went 5-5 and 6-7 when Ed Orgeron was your head coach. That's what happened last year. What you're thinking is about to happen is what happened under Ed Orgeron. That ain't happening under Brian Kelly. It just ain't happening. It has happened under Brian Kelly in past teams. The only 2 times like Brian Kelly had a losing season, if I remember correctly, was his first year at Central Michigan and one of his seasons at Notre Dame, which were preceded by 5 straight 10-win seasons. The dude has talent galore on this roster. He can make adjustments, and we can win some games we're not expecting to win right now. LSU lost this game on a missed PAT. We were in this game. We didn't get trounced. Adjustments will be made. Problems can be fixed. Let's take it a game at a time. You got 2 weeks to fix some kinks.
I do agree with that.
And then you play State. Then you play State in Baton Rouge. Right? Mm-hmm. So you got 2 weeks to fix some things. Then you're tested a little bit at home. And then the next week you're tested a little bit more at home. The schedule's is favoring for LSU in this situation. Okay? Anyways, I'll hop off my soapbox. What I'm saying is you got to get rid of what Ed Orgeron did to us these last 2 years. These last 2 years sucked and they hurt. And as soon as something like this happens under Ed Orgeron, it's falling apart. Like last year after the UCLA game, everybody and their mama knew, this is going to be a really, really long season, right? Different coach can make adjustments. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. But hold your head up, dude. Take it a game at a time. You're going to win some games you're not supposed to. It's the SEC. All right. We probably need to hit some comments. Is it Southern, then Mississippi State? I thought it was Southern, New Mexico State, then Mississippi State.
It's Southern State, New Mexico, then Auburn, then Tennessee.
Oh, okay. I had that all mixed up then. My bad. Well, still, you got a week to fix. Then you got State in Baton Rouge. I think you can make some adjustments. Appreciate that, Goose. Sure. That's on me. Let's hit some comments, and then we'll take a break, and then come back and wrap the show up. Man, Zach, I mean, the fans have been jumping tonight.
I know. I love. Hey,
it must be football season or something.
It must be. Hey, and look, we got to give a big shout out, big thanks to our Twitter followers. We were able to hit over 1,000. I told you, Reagan.
Yeah,
I told you.
You're right. You got it. You called it.
Now the hype video that has like 90-something thousand views, that probably had a little something to do with it. But we were able to hit 1,000 for Florida State, and I think we're actually getting closer already. I think we're at like 1,090 the last I checked, or 1,080 something already. So hey guys, do us a big favor. We really appreciate y'all coming in here and supporting us. Sending in your comments, it makes it a lot more fun to interact with you guys. Do us a favor, like it. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share it around to all your social media pages. Tell your friends. Look, we just want to sit back and talk football. We're LSU exclusive.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna talk only LSU.
Yeah,
maybe every now and then we talk a little disc golf. We talk a little UFC, maybe a little bit, but we're mainly LSU exclusive. We want to talk our Fighting Tigers, and we want y'all to tune in and listen to us as we talk LSU. All right, Brandon Reese, the O-line room is mostly inexperienced guys. Yep, very true. I think the talent is there. I said that. I said that at the preseason a lot. I think the talent has a higher ceiling than the last couple of years offensive lines did, but the inexperience is definitely there. Definitely there. I want to hit this comment. Peyton, what's up, Peyton? Good to see you back with us. As far as me speaking on Jaden, I'm not blaming him for the loss or calling for his job. I'm just stating that if he is going to be QB for us, he needs to play QB, not running back. Peyton, he threw 74%. He threw.
Peyton.
Do you know how many times he threw the ball? Peyton, do you know how many times he threw the ball?
Peyton,
he threw the ball.
Peyton, do you not realize how much he was running for his life? He was running because the O-line didn't give him no time. He threw the ball 30.
Out. Can you hear me, Reagan? All right.
We're losing you. We're losing you, Zach.
I think I'm good. We're here.
You're a little blurry,
let's see what else we got.
You're back. Come on, Peyton.
All right, let's see. Goose,
what's
we have
1
segment?
Week Come on, things. Man.
Come on, man.
Come on,
we gotta say it
man.
We gotta say it like Perp and come on, man. Oh man. Did Jaden not read the defense right on some plays? Yes, but he made positive plays. I agree.
Sure.
But you did a hype video, I guess. I think so. There was some really, really good voices in it. Just saying. Brandon Reese, I'll take
Elwin Myers' comment when you can. Elwin Myers.
That's way better than the last 2 years combined. I also saw Brandon Reese mention, hey, 7-5. We were predicted to go that anyways. Yeah, it's better. Let's see. Where's Elwin's at? I must be missing it. Oh, here it is.
Goose.
Can you guys address BK comments at halftime about the team playing bad first half and thinking they couldn't play any worse than in the first half, but it's his first game, maybe they will.
Listen. People are looking way too far into BK's comments. Like, way too far. The dude was just being facetious. Like, the dude was just making a joke. Like, Elwin, I appreciate you listening and hopping on here and making your comment. But, like, you're not – like, I'm not saying you are the only one. There's just a lot of people that are taking – like they did some of that with his post-game press conference. They took some out-of-context comments and also plucked it out of the whole press conference and was like, oh, here goes BK bashing his team. And in all reality, the dude like put a lot of the blame on coaching in that post-game press conference too. Like, I don't know how many times he said, we got to coach better. We got to coach better. We got to coach better. And also in his press conference today, I mean, he put some responsibility on himself, his coaching staff. Like, and also when, like, we got to understand when he says team, like, that includes himself.
Yeah.
Like, people say, oh, here goes Brian Kelly again, bashing his team. He's bashing the players. Like, team is him too. Like, he's talking about them as a whole. So, yeah, I feel like we're looking way too much into that. The dude said it with a joking tone. Like, he was like, it wasn't like, oh, our team sucks, but it can't get any. It couldn't get any worse.
Could definitely tell the
he was like, it could be worse. Like, it's my first game. Like, he was making a joke. Like, let's quit looking too far into this man's comments. Use some context clues and listen to the tone of voice.
All right,
it's like some guys can't English.
Let's end on this one. We got to hang in there like a loose tooth. LOL, go Tigers. Got to hang loose for loose. Kick off the Sunday L's. Kick off the Sunday L's.
Look, hey, all of you who keep in mind, yes, this stunk. There's 11 games left to play. It was heartbreaking. But look, you got 11 games left to play, and you open the game next year against Florida State. Let's go out and get revenge next year. All right. Let's hit a quick break, Zach. Man, y'all, let's hit a quick break, and then we will wrap the show up right after this.
Make sure you go follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Tigers Avenue, for daily updates on the show and all things LSU sports. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to click off and hit that subscribe button at Tigers Avenue. We broadcast all of our shows live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.
Oh my goodness, the Gold Boot Pod. I can't say that word on I can't say that word, but dang it, Zach. You had to go full caucus on us. Singing the Footloose song. Oh my goodness. I'm assuming that's Pooh Bear. Oh man. Gotta love old Zach and his breakout in songs. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right, guys. It's been a great show. Love talking LSU football. It's a great thing that LSU football is back. And I mean, man, we haven't had this many people comment on a show in a long time. It must be football season. And regardless of how the game turned out, that was a heck of a football game. A wild final 4 minutes, and that is the reason why we love college football. Thank y'all so much for coming in and putting all these comments, giving your opinions, giving your thoughts. We love it, whether we disagree with it or not. We're here to discuss things. Put it in here. We'll discuss it. Love having every single one of y'all on. We'll be releasing we'll be streaming again sometime soon this week. We'll put a tweet out before we decide to do another show. We may be changing our times up a little bit with the start of football season. There's a lot of people watching games on Friday night, so we're probably going to change our times or days. So y'all be on the lookout for our next show. Back to 2 shows a week with the start of the football season. Lots to talk about. Appreciate all of y'all joining in again for all of this. So, guys, we'll see you next time here in the Tigers Avenue. 5-Star here. Take us out. Peace.
Who that 5-star? Who that 5-star? And the LSU Tigers, LSU Tigers.